surgeons of Reddit. What's the weirdest object you've had to remove from someone's butt? I wasn't the surgeon, I was the patient's family doc and took care of him in the hospital for his short stay after. He had a cue ball get stuck. Not sure exactly what he thought would be the way to get it out. We had a lot of trouble getting it out. The conversation of the surgeons trying to come up with a way to get it out was pretty hilarious. I'm a vet. Dog had eaten a whole roll of poop bags, the plastic baggies people use to clean up after their pets on walks. They unspiraled in his gut and spread from stomach to colon. His owners realized what had happened when he started pooping out bags and brought him in through her. My coworker went in to cut him, and the scene she described was hilarious. He would intermittently strain a little and poop out a little section of bags. Someone would tear them off and he'd be okay for a bit, then poop out some more, like he was dispensing them for himself. He did great after surgery. Doc here. As previous posters suggest, it becomes hard to distinguish what is weird anymore, so judge for yourselves. 3 lemons. About a foot of broom handle. A light bulb which did not survive his adventure. So many toilet brushes inserted brush and handle first. A series of toothpicks. Any number of bottles, aerosol cans, etc. My favorite case was a simple DLDO. We's raided, and the radiologist's report read, there is an approximately 15 cm cylindrical foreign body in the large intestine extending proximally from the rectum. Judging by the indistinct outline of the foreign body, I suspect it is still on. Endotech here. Had a guy come in with a capped section of PVC pipe filled with mercury because he liked the sloshing when he jerk in his turkin. Had to call in hazmat and security had to be called when he became violent because they wouldn't give the mercury laden pipe back. A nurse. I've seen baseballs, loads of dildos, cans of soda, vegetables. There should be a public service announcement about using dildos in the bum. It needs to have balls or some sort of base so it doesn't get lost up there. Women's vaginal dildos don't need them, as there is only so far it will go. A doctor I worked with once told a man, it's okay if you want to put things in your rectum. You just have to use the right things. Years ago my nurse wife told me a man had an apple removed from his BTT, but I never understood how this could be possible. I often think about this, but have never asked her for more details. I'll ask her over the table at Christmas dinner tonight. Disappointing update. I didn't ask her at the Christmas dinner. There were small children around and everyone was having a nice time. It didn't seem cool to bring it up. Also no one else started any BTT stuff related conversations, providing an opening for my inquiry. I asked her today but also told her about my post on here. She didn't feel comfortable sharing the details with you guys, so I guess you'll just have to use your imagination. Someone posted about a similar situation and suggested they had possibly worked with my wife. Based on the details in their post, I'm sure it was a separate Apple BTT incident. A enormous silicone BTT plug which broke off at its base inside the patient. It was shaped like a soft cone on a stalk, with the base at the bottom. Had to remove it in pieces. Also, an orang in a bottle 2 years before this BTT plug. A friend of mine is a surgery resident, and during one of her trauma shifts her MTH head walked in with an incandescent light bulb in his colon. It was shoved in with a wide part first. They were dilating the rectum in an attempt to remove it, and the resident in charge of the procedure managed to accidentally separate the metal base from the glass globe, which immediately shattered under the pressure of the colon. They had to perform a partial colectomy to resolve the complication. Meth is a hell of a drug. A foreign body perectomy is a fairly common occurrence. In my time rotating in the air, the most common things have been yucca roots, avocados, shampoo bottles, etc. But that light bulb story is still unmatched. I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen this ray. When I worked in the air we had a guy come in with a 6 battery mag light stuck up Main Street. The funny part is that it was inserted bulb out and it was turned on. So we laid him down prone and the doc spread his cheeks. Then the room lit up like he just cracked open Marcellus Wallace's briefcase. Back when I was an tech, we had this guy come in with a full-size bottle of O5 shampoo up his BTT. Of course he said he fell on it in the shower. You could clearly see it on the x-ray. It was pretty spectacular. The best part was he knew exactly what needed to be done to get it out, suggesting that this wasn't the first time. He asked for conscious sedation and for someone to pull it out. Well, the ed doctor tried that, then tried to manually get it out with forceps, and was essentially elbow deep in this dude, but couldn't get it. He had to go to the operating room to get it taken out. I bumped into the surgeon a few days later and asked him how it went. He joked to me that after we knocked him out, I grabbed a plunger out of the bathroom and got it out that way, but then told me all he had to do was stick some suction up there till he felt it connect, and then slowly pulled it out. According to the surgeon, this guy never presented any sort of identification or insurance card and demanded to pay his entire bill before he left. Usually takes some time for bills to get finalized. He paid it completely in cash and then left via a taxi. I'd be more interested in what non-medical people have had to help people remove from their butts. Not my story. My friend is a radiographer. A guy came into the hospital with Barbie dolls up his BTT. After scans, one came out without too much issue, but the other was too far up. They were worried that, if it was pulled out, its arms would open and puncture the bowel. So they scheduled surgery, the X-ray staff waiting excitedly for news. The surgeon then returned, and with a serious voice announced, "We've found Ken." Not a surgeon, but, wowie wowie, do I know a lot of cases involving falling on things and other such excuses. Here are just some of the things I know. A Buzz Lightyear action figure. A Barbie doll. Plaster of Paris. They wanted a mold of his colon. Instead, it had to be cut open as it was glued shut by the plaster. Glasses the sight kind. Jewelry, mostly necklaces. A cucumber which, after proclaiming he fell over in the garden naked and landed on his cucumber patch, still had the Tesco wrapper on it. A light bulb. Finally, on a rather dark note, if you're a fool who slipped something up their black hole cause the BTT sucks things in disturbingly well they can't retrieve, please, for the love of God, go to your doctor. People have died due to toxic shock due to this acid. A guy here died of it in 2 weeks due to having a DLDO stuck up there and never went to his docs. Your pride can recover, but you can't recover from death.